This is like a story that I had like blacked out of my mind. He invited me to his house for a silent date. So I go over to this guy's house for the silent date, and he like opened the door and silently, and he like nodded and smiled at me, and I was like, what the fuck are we doing? But he like leads me upstairs and then he sits me on the bed. He just stares at me for like a very long time. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so uncomfortable. This is so uncomfortable. And then he's like, it's time for him to do silent prayers. And he was very into doing prayers. And he stood up on his bed. And because I think he liked to be closer to God, so he'd like stand on his bed and do his prayers. And I remember I just like, this is so embarrassing. I stood on the bed next to him, and then he like knelt, and so I knelt, and then he stood, and I stood, and then he knelt, and I was just like following along like an idiot. And I'm like sure he was praying for like world hunger to end, and I'm just praying for like this whole experience to end. And then he like tucked me into bed as if I was a baby, and then like laid down next to me and fell asleep. And I remember like laying there staring at the ceiling being like, I should go.